All right, so I said several days ago on Instagram that I planned to put out an open letter to Kanye West in which I try to reason with him about some of the problematic things that he has said as of late. And I am a huge champion of free speech. I hate cancel culture. I appreciate people who push the envelope and really try to shift or open up the Overton window on what is acceptable discourse. But and in a lot of ways, even when some of the stuff that he said has seemed loopy or has seemed even offensive, I have, or just didn't make sense sometimes, at least to my inferior brain, Kanye. I have been very supportive of him overall, and especially because he has shown such balls when it comes to standing up for Marilyn Manson. And those of you who don't follow the case might not know this, but Marilyn Manson is the victim of a hoax and basically a kind of a larger scale Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation. And Kanye West is one of the few in the entertainment industry, one of the few people of repute who has stood up for Marilyn Manson, and he invited Marilyn Manson to go on stage with him at a couple of his concerts. And so, and he and Marilyn Manson are collaborating together, working together. I really appreciate that, and I think that takes tremendous guts. And I have to say that I don't think that guts are a problem when it comes to Kanye. He definitely has guts or balls or cojones or whatever you want to say. He has them in big supply, right? So that's not what's at issue. But I do think that he went off the rails. I mean, he always goes off the rails some, right? And that's a part of his shtick, and it sells, and it gets a lot of controversy, which sells a lot of stuff. Like, it's no coincidence that when Kanye has had his free speech issues the last couple of weeks and saying outrageous things or saying even offensive things or racist things, and gotten into a big media kerfuffle about that. It's no coincidence that we also hear now that he's thinking about buying the social media forum Parler, right? And of course, we have to understand that that celebrities at this level of the game, so much of what they do is about their bottom line and getting attention and getting publicity and then being able to market their business ventures and stuff, right? So I get that. And there's a way in which everybody kind of understands that maybe we can't take Kanye like totally seriously with some of the outrageous things that he says, but there's a limit to that. And I really think that Kanye, we could debate whether he's crossed the line in the past, but I've never had a big problem with anything that he said, except for recently with this anti-Jewish stuff. And so I am not going to get into that right now, but I do plan to address that very soon. That and some other concerns that I have, address that very soon in an open letter video to Kanye. But only coming from the perspective of someone who really appreciates, I think, a lot of what he's tried to do with a lot of what he's been saying and expressing and agitating for the last couple of years or so, right? Several years. And I certainly, like I said, appreciate him standing up for people like Marilyn Manson. But here's the thing that I want to talk about right now, because I think this gets into a deeper issue pertaining to choice and responsibility and relationships, romantic relationships, and also the choice to have children, all right? So here's an issue that I have with Kanye. Kanye has been complaining for a while now about the Kardashian family and about the fact that he feels like the Kardashians and Kim are overexposed and are raising his children with Kim, in an overexposed fashion. That she's allowing them to be too sexualized. Kanye has a problem with the girls especially, right? He had a big problem with the fact that Kim allowed North to do a TikTok video in which North was wearing makeup and was dancing and was singing about, her lesbian lover or whatever. I mean, that's the lyrics to the song, not really in real life, right, for North. But Kanye clearly, and even this past week, he's been making some comments and insinuating these insinuations once again about the Kardashian family, and basically insinuating that they don't have the proper values, that they don't have the traditional values that Kanye seems to be really into now, or at least into espousing. And he seems to have a real problem, yes, with the fact that he has children with a woman who seems to have a different philosophy than he has on how those children will be raised, their relationship to the media spotlight, the degree to which they will be able to go down the same road that the Kardashian women have gone down. And I'm not making any judgments about that. I'm just saying. And here's my deal with Kanye, all right? I do not feel like he is taking responsibility for his choices, his marital choices, his choice to marry Kim Kardashian, and his choice to have kids with her, to have multiple kids with her. And it's almost like there seems to be this attitude of his that, assuming that what he's saying, he's not saying just for attention, right? But that he really does have these grievances with the Kardashians and with Kim, and feeling like his children are being raised in a superficial Hollywood sort of immoral fashion. And that's why they need to come to his school where they can sing choir and all of that, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And I'm not taking issue even with the idea of raising children with a certain value system, possibly. But I have to say that Kanye is clearly not taking responsibility for his marital choices, because Kanye, you married, I'm not doing the open letter right now, but let me just say, if you happen to be watching, on the freak occurrence, the freak chance that you're watching Kanye, you married Kim Kardashian, you married a woman that everyone knows made a sex tape in order to become famous, and that's only become clearer through the years, but everyone knew it when you were dating her. She made a sex tape to become famous, and I'm not judging that. I feel very sort of amoral about that. I don't think that in and of itself has a moral, that decision has a moral quality. Others may disagree, but I don't feel it does. It's kind of tacky, maybe, right? But she got famous. She made a sex tape and put it out there in order to get famous, and her mom, Kris Jenner, basically did the equivalent of pimping her daughter out so that she could ride the coattails. That's exactly what happened. You know, Ray J published evidence not too long ago showing that not only did Kris Jenner know that Kim Kardashian was going to make this sex tape, but that she helped set up the whole deal, the whole contract and all of that, and distribution and everything, and how it was going to be filmed. And they even had like 2 different locations or 2 different filming sessions. I mean, I'm not saying that Kris Jenner was there, but I'm saying that if you read about what's come out in the last 6 months with Ray J and everything, it's very clear that Kris Jenner was deeply embedded in this decision for Kim Kardashian to make the sex tape with Ray J, and then Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian and all the Kardashians would ride the coattails of that to fame, and that's exactly how it worked out. Now, again, I'm not judging that, but that is what Kanye you married into. So either, and it was very clear to everyone. I mean, the word Kardashian has basically become a kind of a byword in our culture for overexposed, over-sexualized, vapid, superficial women. Now, I'm not saying that's what they are. I don't know them, but I'm saying that everybody knew that was their thing. That's their shtick. That's their commercial strategy. That's their lives. So you married a woman whose family name is a byword for overexposed celebrity and sexuality. A woman who made a sex tape and whose mom basically pimped her out with that sex tape to make the family wealthy. And you, Kanye, are surprised that your children with Kim Kardashian are being raised in a way that's somewhat overexposed or allows for too much early sexuality or whatever all these other things are that you don't like. That they're in a family that's not the Kardashian family, that's not espousing, that's not living according to traditional values as you define them, Kanye. There's no way that you didn't know this. There's no way, because it's so obvious. It couldn't have been more obvious. In fact, I would be hard-pressed to think of someone else that you could have married who would have had more of a reputation for being overexposed and over-sexualized and superficial and over-commercialized, right? I mean, I guess you could have married an actual porn star or whatever. And again, that's no judgment on women who do porn. But I'm saying, like, you went after a woman known for being these things that now you say, oh, this is terrible. My kids are having to grow up with a woman who has these skewed views of sexuality and commercialism and wants her life out in the media constantly and is superficial and is into Hollywood culture. You didn't think that's what you were getting when you married Kim Kardashian, Kanye? Take some responsibility for that. And I can say the same thing, I would imagine, to Kim. You know, what did you think you were getting with Kanye? Everyone knew that he was outrageous, right? George Bush doesn't care about black people. You remember going back to that? I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't have said that or whatever, okay? I'm just saying, though, like, Kanye's outrageousness and his desire to keep pushing the envelope and to say outrageous things and do outrageous things and be his own man and be a larger-than-life figure and get in there like a bull in the china shop and kind of bust things up, it was obvious that's what you were getting. So what I see is two people, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, who should have known exactly what they were getting and yet seemed at some point to be surprised that they had married someone with these perspectives or these issues. And the thing is, this is actually a great object lesson for a lot of us, because a lot of us in our relationships do the same thing. We have a kind of a fantasy of who we think we're getting that in the early stages of love often shuts out the truth or often shuts out the negative aspects of what we're actually about to get into. And we all understand that. We all talk about the blinders of love and the mystery of love and the fact that people don't think clearly when they're in love and it's like they're on drugs and crazy love and all of that, right? But what I don't understand, and I get all of that, right? And we've all been there in some form or fashion. But what I don't understand now is this faux outrage or this sort of like faux consternation on the part of Kanye West, as if he's just sort of awakened and realized what kind of a family he married into or what kind of a woman he chose to have children with. And I don't mean that in a negative, like she's a bad woman or whatever. Again, I don't really have an opinion on what the Kardashians and Kim did to get where they are. More power to them, actually. But Kanye's the one who seems to have all of this consternation and outrage, and it seems like it's almost like he seems to feel that he just woke up and found himself in the situation. You know, what's that Talking Heads song? Who is this beautiful woman? This is my wife? You know, whose life is this? And the deeper point that I'm trying to make here, it's not about ragging on Kanye, all right? I am going to get on his case in my open letter that's coming, so subscribe to my channel if you want to see that, because I'm going to break the whole thing down, and I'm going to talk about where I agree with Kanye and where I think he's doing some good stuff and where I think he's missed the boat. But it's all from a perspective of my respecting him and wanting to help him, you know, assuming he'd ever look at my videos. But this marriage thing and this fact that Kanye seems to have this sort of like this sort of befuddlement or puzzlement or outrage at the fact that he's stuck in this situation. He's found himself in this situation where he's incompatible with the Kardashian family when it comes to perspectives on raising his kids and whether or not they're going to be sexualized or commercially exposed or whatever, right? And to what degree and so forth. To what degree are they going to live the Kardashian way of life, right? Well, Kanye, you married into that way of life, and you sought to promote it. You sought to align yourself with it, and in some ways, I do think that you benefited from it. Yes, Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians benefited from their association with you. That's very, very true. But I do think that it ran both ways. And again, you knew who you were marrying. And so I really have an issue with this kind of inability to take responsibility for these types of choices. And how many kids did you have with Kim? You know, this is something, I do not have children, all right? But for the life of me, you know, explain it to me in the comments, some of you, okay, if you understand this, because I don't. For the life of me, I will never understand why people keep having children when they're having deep marital problems. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, they've got like 5,000 kids. They're like, I think they were doing some competition with Brangelina to see who can break the record. No, I know, never. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We all know that record's going to be held by Nick Cannon and Elon Musk with their 5 million children that will be able to populate Mars when Elon Musk gets there. Maybe he'll give all of Nick Cannon's kids a ride to Mars. It'll be like Noah's Ark. And you just pack them all in the Ark and send it over, right? I mean, by that point, by the time that Elon Musk actually gets to Mars, then Nick Cannon probably will be up to like 4 or 5 million kids, seriously, by then. So he's definitely got a lot of sperm swimming around in there. But anyways, so this why do people have kids when they're having marital problems? You can't tell me that as many kids as Kanye and Kim have, and as recently as they had, those last 1 or 2, you can't tell me that they weren't having deep marital problems at that point. Okay, I mean, I guess it's theoretically possible that things could have been great through all those kids and then fell apart afterward, but I tend to doubt it. And I do not understand, again, Kanye is so upset that he seems trapped in this situation where he's having to raise children with people whose perspective he doesn't agree with and a woman whose perspective he doesn't agree with. Well, I understand, Kanye, like if you had like the first kid, sometimes things just, they kind of slip away from you, right? And we all, we make mistakes sometimes. We get hooked up with people that we shouldn't or whatever, right? So I understand having one kid, okay, with a woman who doesn't share your philosophy or whatever. But having multiple kids, and I understand people say, well, he's changed. And the person that he was when he married Kim is no longer the person that he is now. Okay, well, guess whose fault that is? It's not Kim's. And I'm not saying that Kanye does not have a right to change his mind about his perspective about life or even about how he wants to parent his kids. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have the right to assert to Kim that he doesn't want certain things done with his kids. And then they have to come to an agreement, right? But this sort of outrage and befuddlement and that he's expressing online, this sort of sense of like, oh my God, I just woke up and I'm trapped in this situation with, these people that I'm having to raise these kids with and they don't share my values. Come on. Own your responsibility for your choice, your marital choice, the type of woman you married. And she, you. But see, what happens so often in relationships, in romantic relationships, is that we have a kind of a fantasy of who someone is at the beginning. And we sort of see them through this fantasy lens, right? We all understand that. And we don't think about the deeper consequences, or we don't actually think about, well, what is it going to be like to raise a child with this person? I wonder if raising a child with a type of person who would sell a sex tape to become famous, or whose mom would encourage her to sell a sex tape to become famous, I wonder if there might be some issues with like overexposure and superficiality and oversexualization and all of that. And the truth is, and we all understand this, that often in life, and in romantic relationships, it's the things that attract us to someone that also end up repelling us. It's just like your greatest strength in life is also, on the flip side, often your greatest weakness, right? And I remember that when Kanye West started dating Kim Kardashian, and this might have been actually right after they got engaged, and he was being interviewed about this, and he said that one of the main things that he loved about Kim, or that drew him to Kim, is that she was just the ultimate woman to sexually fantasize about. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. She just really does it for him. Well, that's great, But sexuality was clearly front and center from the beginning of this relationship. How could it be anything else? It's Kim Kardashian. And sexuality was also front and center in the way that you, Kanye, chose to help market Kim Kardashian. You've taken all this credit for how you basically styled her over the years, and you helped her to up her game stylistically. Well, Kanye, I don't know. I've seen your fashion line. That's kind of a hard one for me to swallow. But anyway, I understand, we don't all share the same taste or whatever, okay? But my point is You helped to further that sexualized image, and you fed into it creatively in terms of your creative projects and your collaborations with Kim and the Kardashians and the way that you even styled her. You said that you styled her a lot, right? Well, I see her over the years wearing these not only very sexy clothes, but like sometimes shockingly sexy clothes and sexy looks and stuff. I mean, the whole time that you dated, the whole time you were married, she was putting up all of these pics on the internet, scantily clad and stuff. So I just, again, I mean, and you had multiple children with her. Again, well into the relationship. It's not like these were just accidents, right? I remember, I never really watched much of Keeping Up with Kardashians because I would always get like tired of the obviously scripted storylines, at times. But they did talk about you and Kim and your issues with conception, especially on that last kid or two, right? I saw a clip from one of the shows when Kim was talking about how she was actually getting sick of having sex because y'all had to have it at a certain time, right? Because of fertility and ovulation and all of that. So it was very premeditated. I know that at least a couple of your kids were very premeditated. And you just keep popping them out. Why do people keep having kids when they're having relationship problems? I will never understand. It seems so irresponsible. And don't tell me accidents. Birth control is just too good now. When you can get an IUD, I don't know. I know that accidents do happen sometimes, but I just have to say for the record, being a woman and knowing a lot of women over the years, that there are many times when women say they got accidentally pregnant, and what that means is I got carelessly pregnant. I remember, being in college and even beyond, well into my 20s or even 30s or whatever, and hearing female friends say, oh, I missed a few birth control pills, but oh well, whatever. You men would be pretty shocked at the cavalier way with which a number of women handle their birth control, or rather you wouldn't be shocked, right? Because a lot of you out there have been suckered into having kids that you didn't want, or at least you didn't want at that time, or you didn't want with that woman. And I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad or whatever, right? I'm just saying, women know what I'm saying. Women know what I'm saying. And they know that there's a lot of oopsies that aren't quite an oopsie. And then also, unfortunately, there are a number of women who do use the pregnancy card as leverage in a relationship to keep a man. Anyway, I hope everybody has a good rest of the week. Check out my videos if you thought this was interesting. You're going to love some of my other stuff. And as always, tips are appreciated. Links are below. Everybody have a great night. Bye.